Hi, Facebook. I'm Nikki Jobin. If you're on my page, obviously you know who I am. But if you're on the Golden Apple Metaphysical pages or the Facebook or the YouTube, I am Nikki Jobin, one of the owners of Golden Apple. And this is Left Unsupervised, which is MisBehaving. Diana Rachel, who is my usual co-host, is feeling under the weather tonight, so she's not going to be joining us, but I do have a special guest. My special guest is Lauren Barrett. If you have seen our show before, she was on a few weeks ago. We're very excited to have her back, and I'm going to pull her in just 3, 2. I hope she's ready and not adjusting anything. There she is. Hi, Lauren.
Hi, no adjustment necessary.
She's ready and raring to go. I love it. Thanks for jumping on last minute.
Well, it gave me an opportunity to wear makeup.
I'd say me too, but it doesn't even look like I'm wearing any, so who cares?
I was raised by drag queens. What do you want from me?
And it's lovely. Are you kidding? You look fantastic. What are you talking about?
Thank you.
Which it's good that you look fantastic because tonight our topic is pagan dating. Oh my God, I love that. So I put as our little description tonight that we are going to be discussing the pros and cons of dating while pagan, dating while witches. And I actually did a little bit of research before I came onto this. Like I started a couple days ago and I was looking, and there are actually pagan dating sites.
Yeah.
And I guess I didn't realize that, but I went looking for them. And the pitfalls of looking for a Wiccan or pagan dating site is that half of the things that are listed on there, you click on them and it takes you to like a porn hookup site. And all of a sudden there were these breasts in my face. And I was like, whoa. It was just, well, not your breasts. Some random person that I didn't know. Which makes it totally different.
It's totally different.
But I was getting pissed off because it had this, these really great names to them. And I'm like, that would be a great pagan dating site. But no, it was all false advertisement. So many are these days. I'm like, damn it. There was a pair of socks underneath there. Damn it. But, so while I was doing this, I went on actually 3 sites, and one of them that I did the little sign up profile thing for also gave me a free subscription to Data Wiccan, which I will not be taking advantage of.
Probably for the best.
I think that Wicca is a great starting place. Like I started as a Wiccan, but I've kind of moved a little bit beyond that. My path has evolved a little bit differently.
Right.
And, I need somebody that I feel is going to be a little bit more open-minded about the stuff that I do than a lot of the Wiccans that I've met.
That's my biggest challenge.
Yeah.
Is are people going to be comfortable with my practices, my philosophy? I mean, it's something that's been developed over since I was a kid. So it's, not to give away my age, but it's been a shut up. It's been a long time. I hope, see, that was a good time for a spit take, right? Where you,
yeah. I choked on my drink before it even got in my mouth. Yeah. I'm not a joker.
So, God. My challenge is that what I'm attracted to isn't always on those kinds of sites.
Mm-hmm.
So while I might find like-minded people, I'm not going to find somebody who is like me. I need somebody who's a little bit hip hop, a little bit punk rock. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't always come along with people who are comfortable with alternative points of view.
I get that. And it's tough. I guess that maybe I didn't think that going on a pagan site would be as challenging as dating on a regular dating site, but it kind of is. So the 3 sites that I went on were pagan singles dating. I had to write all this down.
Mm.
Pagan dating service and pagan harmony. I kind of had to laugh at that pagan harmony. I was like, okay, all
That,
right.
that was really kind of goofy sounding.
It is very goofy. I'm going to give a little bit of background here, though. For me, for those of you who know me or don't know me, people that know me may not know this, but my husband and I am married. I've been very happily married for the last 15 years. But about 5 years ago, my husband and I made the decision to become ethically non-monogamous and polyamorous. So we both are also navigating the weird world of dating. Well, not so much now, obviously. But in addition to our home life, like our home life is very, separate. Our family life is the number one thing to us. It's our first priority. But, we do have other people that we spend time with. For me, it's kind of nice because I don't feel like I have to be everything for my husband. I know that sometimes I'm really, really intense, and I think it must be nice for him to date somebody that's not as crazy. I applaud your I don't know what the word, your strength of will not to make a joke there.
Restraint.
Restraint. There we go. I appreciate the restraint. As I wrote in our description, the jokes are going to write themselves tonight. Anyway, I've never, while I have gone on, and we both have gone on traditional dating sites, I've never been on any of these, but I didn't think anything was going to be worse than some of the regular dating sites, but these somehow are. I was just kind of reading your profile from one of them, and I'm not going to read the whole profile here. I'm not going to even name the site that it's on, but literally the last 2 lines of this profile are what got me. So I'm going to click onto this right here. And the person says, I need a woman who will stand by my side, even if I don't stand by her. I want someone who lets me do whatever I want and not tell me no. Well, that's special.
Yeah, that's some kill box shit, if you ask me. I watch too much ID to be able to be comfortable with anything close to that. For those that don't know what ID is, it's investigative discovery, and it's just basically just murder.
Yeah, How to Get Away with the Perfect Murder. They'll probably in a few weeks have that girl that they recently found that was under the floorboards. Like they had this girl that they kidnapped these people. I didn't read the whole story. I just kind of caught a glimpse of it, but she was under the floorboards. This happened in California. Yay. Yay. She was still alive.
She's alive?
Yeah, she was alive. Yeah. But they
That's
had they had her hidden under the floorboards. Haven't you ever heard of those? It's not the first time something like this has happened.
No, Charles Ng and see, that's going to be the next thing we do. Charles Ng and Leonard Lake are famous in Antioch, as a matter of fact. Bay Area famous. They had a kill box.
Yeah, see, Lauren and I are going to start another podcast that just talks about the crime shit that we watch together. But yeah, that's not a typical profile. That was just probably the worst one that I read.
Yeah.
And I was just really, my brain kind of just runs through this and says, well, why are you even on a dating site? Why don't you just find a little, I don't know, a little meek woman in your town because you're obviously from like North Carolina or something. Does that sound, is that stereotypical? Maybe.
So, I mean, that borderlines into like a BDSM kind of thing, like.
No, I'm gonna give you pushback right there before you go with that.
Okay.
BDSM, not really my bag, really. I'm very open to things, but it's not my particular preference. But the sub has a little bit more power there, like, for BDSM. It's really about their comfort level and what their safety word is.
Yeah, I guess he did say, won't tell me no.
Yeah, he doesn't want anyone to tell him what to do, which he's a special friend.
It sounds like he still lives with his mom.
He could be. Maybe mom's getting old and she can't do the laundry anymore. I don't know. I don't
Well, I
know.
bet he just gets told no by his mom all the time. And he's like a 47-year-old man that lives in the basement. And she's like, Leonard, come down the stairs now. He's like, Mom.
Could be, could be. Tell him to stop clogging up her internet with porn. Yeah.
Why can't I
Um,
use the Wi-Fi?
nice. So some of the things that I've seen on these is that with a lot of them, for access to most things on these pagan sites, you have to have some kind of subscription. There was only one site where you could actually, that I found that you could actually read the messages without having a subscription.
Mhm.
So I was like, come on. I'm like, even Tinder lets you read the messages.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, what they're saying is going to be shitty, but I mean, honestly, the site that I got to read the messages, they weren't really worth it. It was a lot of I'm looking for my soulmate.
Mhm.
Ugh, ugh, no thanks. And then pictures, weird pictures, like I'm bursting out of the water. I'm kind of I didn't know what to say to that picture, but it's just one-liners and stuff like that. There are a lot of like North heathen or Norse and heathen and kind of people there. Odinists I found a lot of. I didn't see really much in the way of like any kind of Reconstructionism or, maybe there was one person that kind of aligned a little bit with Druidism, but I didn't really see a lot of other paths out there. Like I saw one that was into hoodoo. And I was like, oh, this person seems interesting. But that was like the only person out of all three websites.
Yeah.
Let's see. So it's either, and then the profiles, they don't really fill out the profiles. It's
Right.
either very minimalist or non-existent, or it is like you have Legolas from Lord of the Rings talking to you. There's no middle ground. There's no middle ground.
It's just
Um,
all cosplay or
I was like, I guess we're just sticking with the regular dating sites. But then you get the whole thing of, you tell someone that you're a witch, and I can see the statements just running through your mind right now. Are you going to put a spell on me? If it doesn't work out, are you going to hex me? And my favorite, oh, can we do sex magic? I'm like, motherfucker, I just met you 2 minutes ago. You need
right.
to slow your roll.
Right.
Um,
If you're even getting that, because I have to, for myself, my challenge is I end up with what on the surface is a intense Christians.
ooh, yeah.
And because my dating preferences are not towards gangly white guys who wear a lot of black. And so 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 those websites are going to be completely useless to me. And
I wasn't aware that your dating preferences went to any kind of white guy, regardless of what he looks like.
I was trying I was trying to not say exactly that, but yes, okay, you said it. I'll go with it. You got to be
Okay,
brown to get down. It's sort of my dating. Let's
there
just
you
start there. And unfortunately, there's a lot of Christianity in the brown community,
go. Yes.
and there certainly isn't somebody who would. I'm never going to meet anybody who does anything like I do because
Mhm.
it's so homegrown. It's by its nature homegrown. Hoodoo in and of itself is kind of a home. There's no rule book
Mhm.
in Native American mysticism, hoodoo, and that this hodgepodge that has become me over the decades, and my development. Because I pull from Catholic too, or I'm starting to, and
Mhm.
I pull from Christian mysticism. In 10 years I might be into Judeo mysticism. Who knows where I'm going to go with
Hey, those are
this.
totally a thing, and I dig that.
And I think anything, if you can appeal to as many gods as you can, why not?
Well,
Just
I'm just like, just have an open mind about it, because That's my thing. The things that I play with are not always, on the quote unquote lighter side. Like I delve into shadow work. I do a lot of
So do
dark
I.
energy work, and
Yeah.
I have clients that I help with that, but there are a lot of people even in the pagan community that are not okay with that. So personally, I won't match with anyone that has Christian or Catholic on their profile just because I don't have the energy to deal with that.
Right. And it pops up a lot on regular dating. A lot.
Mhm.
Which it makes me wonder, like, why aren't you going to church and finding a good girl? Like they're all there,
Yeah,
waiting,
totally.
desperate. There's tons of them, and they're all wondering where all the good guys are. They're at church. So if you were really that kind of Christian, find a church. That's what I think. Find something that you're mutually interested in, and eventually
Mhm.
you'll find somebody. Mine just happened to be every now and then I get like I I get a home run, and I'm just like, wow. Not very often though.
Yeah,
Not
well,
very often. I actually had been up until recently very committed to the concept of I'm just going to be patient and wait and it'll come to me. And if it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I I would rather stay who I am
mhm.
than try and make someone fit.
Yeah, that absolutely is the truth, because I think we all have to juggle different things, and I have to juggle the whole, I'm married and I have children, and that's my family life.
Right.
And not to say that I can't have long-term, very loving relationships with other people. It just means that those people won't necessarily be my priority relationship. And that's hard to navigate for people because so many people are looking for the one. Anytime I see someone that says they're looking for the one, I won't connect with them either.
Well, that terrifies me because I don't want to be that important to any one person. It isn't that I don't think that a relationship should be, but I always am afraid that somebody is going to have way higher expectations
Hmm.
than than is reasonable at the point of texting. I mean the last one of the last guys I spoke to, um we didn't get 10 minutes into a conversation before he hung up on me.
Wow.
Yeah. And he hung up on me because all right, I hadn't accidentally hit mute, but I told him I accidentally hit mute. And let me start from the beginning.
All right, this is not a pagan dating thing. This is a dating Lauren thing, but I want to hear the story.
Um, he was telling me that he wanted to be in a relationship. He's like, if we're sexually attracted, and he was going off. If we're sexually attracted to each other, we should want to touch each other, and I should be able to touch you, and you should want to touch me, and I want to be wanted, and all that. And he's going off so hard. And I got this tablet, and I don't know how to use Alexa. You've witnessed that. And and I put him on mute because I really wanted to record this, but I didn't know how to record it. And I was like, Alexa, record something. And Alexa's like, I don't record. And I was like, what do you do? Like, this is not the time, Alexa, to be in the
Hmm.
no zone. I need you in the yes zone. So it wasn't happening. So I went back to the phone call, and he's just still going on about how he's been in relationships, and he's like 40 something. And then he's like, this happened when I was 21. And I'm just like, you're insane. And then I told him I hadn't I was like I accidentally muted you, and he hung up on me. And then I called him back, and because I didn't think I thought it was an accident. And I texted him, and I'm like, did you hang up on me? And he goes, yes. And I was like, why? And he goes, he said something. I was like, well, I just accidentally muted you. Yes, I lied. And then he says you have great tits,
Wow. Wow.
but we have zero chemistry, and I don't tolerate that shit. I can take a lot of things, but no chemistry is something I'm not going to tolerate. The fuck out of here. That's why I want to record it so bad, because I was like, this dude's batshit. And
Wow.
you've got, just in dating in general, you've got just the crazy train going
Yes.
on.
Yes. Beyond the pagan
Yeah,
part of it, because we're all kind of, we're in our little nutty worlds anyway, but you mix dating into that, and it really is, when you mix people that practice with people that don't practice, those waters just they become very murky.
yeah,
um I mean, I've had guys that were okay with the magic but not okay with other aspects of my life. I had a guy once that wanted to meet me. We hadn't even met yet, mind you. We hadn't even met yet, and he wanted to meet. And I was like, "I'm sorry, I have a family party that day. I can't meet you." And he was like, "Come on, just 15 minutes, 15 minutes." I'm like, "No, I'm at a family party." And then I got a text, and he was like, we were out at a park, and he's like, "I'm right by where you guys are at." I was like, you're not listening. Like, you're not really paying attention. Like, I'm at a family party. Like, I'm sorry, like, I cannot meet you today. So fine, that conversation's over. The next day that we were talking about meeting again, he was like, "Well, I don't know. You're really gonna have to make it up to me." I was like, I'm sorry. Excuse me? Like, what do I have to make up to you? Well,
uh,
because you couldn't see me that day. I was like, "Oh, see, you don't understand where we're coming from." And then he started pulling out the whole, their favorite, the alpha male. Well, I'm an alpha male, and obviously you'd rather prefer a beta male. I'm like, if this is what an alpha male is, you're damn skippy. You're
right,
damn skippy. I think a lot of men use the term alpha male to translate into, I want to be a complete and utter asshole and get away with it.
right, right.
You know,
Misogynist. And that's the other thing, is that with being in a polytheistic faith, majority of them have a good, like, female lead presence. A lot of priestesses, a lot
oh
of
yeah.
goddess work and worship, and um, a guy who puts his face on a pagan website and doesn't expect to find goddess worship, earth
Mhm.
goddess worship, as the women that you're going to come up. You're what they need to be hitting is like the dom BDSM sites. They're looking for something else. They're not looking for somebody to. I
Well,
think they're
I
just
think a lot of those
confused.
guys get drummed out of actually the BDSM community because they don't play well with others and they don't respect boundaries. And that's the real problem here, is that you're seeing a lot of men in this particular case, but men that are not respecting boundaries. Now, fortunately, not everybody's like that. And I've met some really amazing people in the pagan community. I have a longtime partner that is actually a druid.
Hmm.
Um, and we talk about our magic stuff, and he's fully accepting of, like, all the paths that I walk down, which is very nice. And I think he's actually my only partner that is a practitioner.
That
But
is.
but it's nice to be able to have somebody to conference
Mm.
with for that. But we do have a couple viewers, and I just want to put it out to our viewers. Do you have any, like, crazy dating stories, whether they be pagan or no? I know we had Sandy, my friend Sandy, and Erin from the group. I don't know if you remember Erin. She's been in the meetup group once or twice
Yes.
since we've been on there.
Yeah.
And I have some other people. They Sandy and Erin, though, did have comments about our the gentleman that I referenced his profile earlier. But yeah, if anybody has any comments, just drop them down in the chat box there, and they'll pop up on my screen because I fixed that. Are you okay there?
Mm.
Did you get a hiccup?
No, no, I'm fine. If I got hiccups, you'd know it.
I would laugh.
Everybody would laugh. You'd have to take me off the screen, because that would be so obnoxious.
Um, so, what are some of the weird comments that you've gotten just dating in particular? Well, I know that you don't really talk about your faith as much.
No, I don't. And it's because I do a lot of kind of trying to fly under the radar until it's absolutely necessary. Because, the honest to God's truth is they're going to make asses of themselves long before we get to the point where I've got to discuss what why there's a chicken bone in a vegetarian's house,
Or why it's hanging off the doorknob.
Stop it. Never mind. I'm gonna get derailed. But but when I do, it is a touchy thing, and it becomes so my background is I'm a virgin, and
Compared to what?
hey, well, never mind. Anyway,
I've had 3 babies. There is nothing virginal here.
see, told you. I got a cat. But
You might feel like you've joined the convent, but there are a couple miles on those tires over there, ma'am.
Clearly I'm a virgin. I have had more than my share of people backing out when I start to talk about things, and it's not even. I mean, I'm not going to get into deep hard shit in the early, before we even meet. But I can tell when I walk into a room that the person that I'm meeting, it's not going to work. I mean, that I can read the body language. I can read the sense of like who they are, if they're really super uptight in the way that they carry themselves, if they're more interested in telling me about the size of their home and what kind of car they have, they're probably not going to be interested in somebody who does witchy work for personal growth. And my challenge is I don't want the guy who wears tie-dye and runs around with chakra conversations and sits in a fucking triangle and says om or some shit like that. Like that just does there's nothing sexy about that to me. But I also don't want I don't know. It's difficult for me. Like I said, I'm a hard fit. I'm a hard fit, and I've dedicated myself to being myself and being true to myself. And that's important. And I think that whoever can manage to see through that for myself and for anybody, that's what's important. I say hold out and do your best. My advice is to do your best to, you don't have to tell people everything about yourself right off the bat. But if you're like me, you will. And if you,
Except for that.
it cuts through a lot of bullshit really quickly.
Yeah.
If you
Aaron,
just,
go ahead.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, well, we have Erin that popped up a comment that she says she keeps her spiritual beliefs on the DL too. She gets tired of them before we're close enough to be open about it anyway.
Yeah, that's exactly the same thing. It's just, I'm going to either just be like, yeah, this isn't going to work in any way. You can get a sense of when somebody would be receptive. I've thrown things out, and I am honestly, when it starts to click and you get a good rapport with somebody, it is the most relieving feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't necessarily mean that it's somebody who you end up partnering with. It doesn't mean that it's somebody that you're meant to be with. It can be somebody who you just are like, awesome, another person in the fold.
Yeah.
I always, for my gay boyfriends, I always say, if I can't sleep with them, I want to know somebody who does. Mm-hmm. And if I and if I don't find, if it doesn't click with this person, maybe somebody they know that's in their circle
Hmm.
might be a good person that would fit with me. So I do keep that door open. I don't necessarily lead with that though. That's not a good first date conversation.
Yeah, well, I am a little bit more open about it, like even before we meet. One, because I mean, obviously, I own a metaphysical shop,
Yeah.
so there's really, that horse is out there on Main Street. Um, but it is a little. There are obviously certain things that I don't discuss with people, like the
Yeah.
shadow.
Yeah.
I have a hard time discussing that just in general. But people are like, "Oh, you're a Wiccan." I'm like, "No, I'm a witch." And they don't understand the difference. My whole thing going into all of this is that I'm looking for great connections, though. If I make a good connection and we end up just being friends, like I'm totally okay with that. If it becomes
It
something more, even better.
it might not be the worst idea to just start a, a dating site that caters to people who are truly looking for a connection that are not Christian. I mean,
Hmm.
they've got, fuck them. They've got Jew date and Christian mingles and all that shit. That why not? Why not? What could you call it?
Not pagan harmony, witch a date or something.
Not pagan harmony. That's great.
Nothing says loving like something from the coven. What?
But see, then that's still too specific. I
Oh,
don't
pagan
know.
loving. Aaron says pagan loving. I like it. Pagan loving. That's gonna
Pagan
be
love is not the worst idea, actually. There you go.
not actually.
Shut her down, find her, kill her. We're taking that idea. I'm just
Well,
kidding.
I
I'm
posted
just
it
kidding.
live, so we already have proof that she chose that one.
Damn it. Now I
Damn it,
just threatened to commit murder on.
you
Oh,
did
well.
on my. Oh, she said coven lovin'. Wait, this is the one. This is the one. Except I'm not in a coven. Coven lovin'. But then people are gonna think that it's all about the freaking, sex
Salem.
parties. No, I was thinking sex parties. Wow, we were
No.
two different skills there.
Or vampire. Ugh. Don't. I hate those people, but I'm just saying. I don't hate them, but I really don't like them very much.
Well, what are you talking about? Like psychic vampires? Or are you talking about like, oh God, Vampire the Masquerade people? Because they are both equal. You know,
Annoying, yes, they can be. Can
I
be
mean,
sometimes.
I will say that maybe once upon a time I did have that book, but I don't think I ever cosplayed anything. But that's just me. Um,
I
I think
don't.
it's
Yeah, I
very
don't.
cool when people do it because they get into it and they're obviously way more crafty and talented than I will ever be.
That's true. Uh, I um I I could date somebody who did cosplay. Not in bed though. I think that would be a bit too much.
No role
But
play for Lauren.
I'd just be like, okay, can we stop with the elf quest or whatever the fuck it is you're dressed as today?
But what if he wants you to be the sheath for his sword?
I gotta go. I gotta go. That was really gross. I just got sick. I just got sick. I've got
Oh.
COVID. Gotta go. um, and there really isn't a dating site that is a safe haven for people that are of alternative minds. Because it really all it is, what it is we're trying to get in touch with nature, the spirits, the earth, the sky, and that can be really intimidating to people. Did you freeze? She froze. Okay, so I'm out here all by myself, kittens. Oh, crap. Either she froze or she's having a stroke. Well, anyway, Crap. When that happens, I have no idea what to do. Um, I, for my part, actually, oh God, now it's just all me. Nothing says you're by yourself like being the only one talking. All right. Oh, my bed's a mess. God, could you guys see that before? There we go. Nothing better than triple D's to block all the mess. um, I
It's not
It's
all you
not.
on here. I don't know. We had some weird internet thing. Like I thought you froze and you froze back like this, which was hysterical. And then I was starting to say something about it and then I froze. Then I was like, holy fuck.
I
All right,
discovered how messy it is on my bed.
I guess we're not going to make fun of the cosplayers anymore. I mean, not that I was really making fun of them, but
I just said I didn't want, Elf Boy coming into the bed. I
well,
don't think that's too
apparently the
much.
elves didn't like that.
Well, then I won't say anything about plushies either.
Well, the good thing about plushies, though, I'm all about a cuddle party. I will.
On that note, I am grateful for COVID.
Well, yeah, nothing's going on. But you know what? You would be surprised how many people do want to meet. I'm actually surprised by that.
I had a guy who I have respiratory issues. Behind these are some weak lungs, and I
I just
it's a
that just
formidable.
I just caught up to that.
It's quite a you got to get through, but and this my mother actually sent me N95s years ago during the first series of fires
I
because
remember
I
that.
get really I can get really sick. And I had one man who was like, "Oh, let's meet for coffee." I'm like, it's like 200 air quality index right now. We're in a pandemic, so we'd have to sit outside, and I don't have a car, and you want me to come to South City, San Francisco?
Yeah, totally. They're totally not phased.
No. And then of course the response is, "Oh, women aren't taking this seriously." It's like, you're right. I'm not taking you seriously. I'm taking my health seriously.
Yeah.
Terribly sorry.
Or what do they want? For you to meet with 15 people and they're number 15 and then, they get the COVID?
Right. Right.
Yeah, I
Um
can definitely say that I have not been. I've kind of paused all my stuff there, you know.
yeah, that is it is well, I've I keep lucking out. I do keep lucking out. Um I'm not saying that everybody's been grand or everybody's really dateable, but Um, I've been hitting a good string of people who are getting it, and the ones that don't, it's just like, okay, you don't get it. Um, and respectful. Let's video chat first. That's my immediate go-to is a video chat. It's like that's doable. That knocks a lot of stuff out of the way. One, if you're physically attracted to each other. Um, and two, if you have a good rapport and an ability to talk to each other.
Yeah.
And that matters. That matters a lot, especially if you're going to have to be on the phone.
I think with a video chat, I'm just worried that I'm going to log onto a video chat with someone and they're just going to be totally nude. And I'm just going to be like, whoa. Like that, and that's going to be the time that my kids come walking through the room going, hey, mom. Like, how do you do that?
My cat doesn't care.
Your cat would make disparaging comments, let's be honest.
I would laugh. I would laugh so hard. I just watched something where this woman got killed by a guy who was flashing, and the woman laughed at him, and he killed. But on video, what are they going to do?
Nice. That would be one of us. We'd be killed by the person because we laughed at it.
Yes, that's our fate. That's going to be on my epitaph. I have no doubt. Let's just
And
hope
she
it's like
laughed.
50 years from now. God, that long? Ugh.
Wow, you'd be a little bitty old thing, wouldn't you?
Probably not with these things.
Yeah, you'd be the hunchback. They'd just sag and pull you over.
Shut up.
Oh God, what was the comment you made yesterday when I told you what the topic was going to be today?
What did I say?
You said something about, oh God, you made the comment about you're not into the white guys, but it was something about pagany white guys, and then you said something they just want lactation or something.
Oh,
Oh,
the
God.
lactators. I get lactators all the time. The guys that are into lactation, and I'm just like, oh.
Oh God.
One guy was like, I can bring a woman to lactation who hasn't even ever been pregnant. He kept his wife pregnant, uh, enough to have 6 children in order
Oh,
to have
wow.
lactate because he was so in. It's not the fucking first, and I'm like, come on. First of all, if I was into that, don't you think you would have already met me?
Maybe. Yeah, I definitely get my share of people that are not pagan and not in the kink community that come up with some pretty off the wall things.
Yeah,
When they yeah.
they should be in one of the two communities.
Well, the funny part is that when you ask them if they've ever been in the kink community, it's oh no, oh no. Like there's some stigma to being in the kink community.
In the
I'm like,
meantime, Khloe Kardashian has a sex swing and she puts it on TV.
well, there you
It,
go. Good for her.
that's
I mean,
that's the
wait, is
kink
she
community.
using it on TV or is she just showing it on TV?
That she showed how to use it on TV, not actual.
Oh, I was like, that's kind of
I've
ballsy, Chloe.
never watched a Kardashian anything. It was on some
Yeah, me neither.
passing program. Uh,
I just remember the big butt champagne thing. That was a big deal for a while.
that was Kim, and that she was going to break the internet.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which,
I
lucky
couldn't
for
pick
us,
them out
she
of a
didn't.
lineup. Yeah, I couldn't pick her out of a lineup, any of them really, except for Jenner.
Chris or Bruce?
Bruce Jenner, I could pick out of a lineup. Kris Jenner, I could also pick out of a lineup, but any of the kids, no.
I'm not too good on the younger. I don't even know why we're talking about this, but the two youngest ones look the exact same. I
We
just
derailed
stopped.
after sex swing. Actually, I knew someone with a sex swing. Never used it personally, but did see it used.
I am fairly certain I would take the goddamn thing out of the ceiling.
Yeah, see, I'm like, is that thing bolted into
I want to see the infrastructure first. Where's the architect to put that
I'm
fucking thing in? I want to see iron on iron.
like, is that in a truss?
There's if my date brought home a fucking sex swing, I would be like, we're gonna lay it down on the bed, right? I mean, Khloe Kardashian pulled hers out of the fucking ceiling. That's why I heard about it.
Oh.
At least I think, or I'm just making it up. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Spread it around.
I could have like a sex saddle. I don't know. I just think of those sawhorses that you cut wood on.
I'm sorry. That sounds really reminiscent. Where have I heard that before?
Not from me. That wasn't a sex saddle. That was a saddle put outside my hotel room. Thank you very much.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that. My mistake. Terrible, terrible mistake.
And it was
I
funny as
made.
hell. I laughed so hard. So hard. The best. Hashtag amazing pranks.
Now we haven't covered a portion of this subject, which is people who are non
Practitioner?
non-hetero
Oh,
sexual. I mean, we'll just go with the old people's term. I don't know what they call it now. What do they call this? What do they call the straights nowadays? I don't know.
oh, the
Cis. I
straight
don't know what that
people?
means.
Cis means you were born. You consider yourself, you were born a certain gender, quote unquote.
Well, I know what it's supposed to mean, but I still don't know what it means.
Okay.
But
Are you trying to talk about straight people?
no, I'm just saying like this. The community also has the pagan community, the spiritualist community has a lot of sex fluid people.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Well,
not
actually,
per-
I see that, but it's excuse me. I see that in the pagan community, but it's not. I don't think it's as big a deal as it is in the not pagan community. You're demisexual, awesome. You're asexual, okay. You're homosexual, great. Like people don't stress off of that as much, I think. And it could be, because we're touchy feely dirt worshippers. I don't know.
well,
We're meat based.
I think because we're talking about this, we're
Mhm.
talking about it from a heterosexual woman point of view, but
Mhm.
there are, you start chipping down the categories and it can get even more limited if you have a sexual preference that is outside of heterosexual.
Mhm.
So you even, I think that would be, I mean, you spearhead stuff like this. I think you should look into it.
Yeah, we definitely. I know Diana has a little bit more experience in that than I do. In the, I guess it would be the queer pagan community.
Hmm.
Even though I don't identify as queer, though I consider myself a little bit more hetero flexible. Um, but give me one talk for a minute. My daughter is calling me. Hold on.
Okay.
Hi, Bells. We're doing the show. Are you home? Okay. All right. I love you too. Bye. All right. Well, that was my oldest daughter who has recently moved to Santa Rosa. She drove down to the Bay Area today, and she just let me know that she got home because, I'm not a helicopter mom, but I'm that little chicken counting my little chicks. Cluck cluck cluck. So I asked her to let me know when she gets home.
Yeah, she's the only good one you'll have.
Christopher's good.
Uh, he's no, he is a good kid.
He is.
I love that you're like Chris is good.
Well, okay, so I have to just say this on the air because we're talking about this. So in his PE class yesterday, because they're doing all the virtual learning, but they were running around the house trying to find things, and he was the thing that they were supposed to find was something that had been a gift that was given to them. And one of my partners had recently come and brought like these little kits. It's like a volcano kit. They're science kits, a volcano kit and how to make a rocket kit. So he grabs one and he runs it in, and all of a sudden I hear, "Oh, my mom's boyfriend gave this to us." I was like, "Oh, the school doesn't really know about that, but I guess it's a little late now." Well,
Oops.
yeah, the nice thing about being really open about stuff is that you don't worry about that so much.
Hmm.
Um, but it definitely makes for interesting dinner conversation.
Can you still see me because I'm having a little bit of a challenge?
It's a day ending in Y.
Thank you, and
And I can
it's
still see you. You look fabulous.
thanks,
Doesn't Lauren look
but
fabulous, everybody? I feel very underdressed.
I I I don't know how to check my
Me?
battery life. There it is.
That's okay. She wasn't looking at me, so she totally missed what everybody else saw.
What did you do?
Nothing.
What'd you do?
I
Did
was
you do
trying to check.
something in your box at me? Like, it's the
Oh,
other
that would
way.
have been funny. Oh, no, wait. It has to go this way. Need one of those shirts. I'm with stupid. It's just a shirt.
at the risk of putting my ass completely in the middle of the fucking screen.
What are you looking for now? Oh, you have to plug it in.
Yeah.
Next time she does a show, I'm going to be like, is your computer plugged in?
Well, I thought I could,
Checklist.
I thought I could fly without.
Are we fluffed and ready?
What'd I do? Okay.
There she is.
Well, there we go.
There she is.
Oh, now
It
I'm.
wouldn't be left unsupervised if we didn't have some kind of technical difficulty.
I didn't knock the whole thing onto the floor this time, so that's good.
That's good. That's good. But we did both fall off the screen at one point. So
I did drag Caspian's box a bit further away from him than he'd like. I just give him a cardboard box. It seems to do the trick.
cats and small children, they all love the boxes.
I'm telling you. Oh my God. And then when you're in a room with cats and small children, the war.
Yeah. Then they change.
Um, I've had a lot of experiences. I don't know if you have had as many as I have, but mine have just been kind of endless.
For pagan dating, I mean, I've definitely through the years, obviously there have been quite a few long, spells in between dating where I've
Mhm.
been in some long-term relationships. But yeah, the lines don't change. The stupid, there's always, are you going to cast a love spell on me? No, I don't even know if I like you. Why the hell would I do a love spell on you? Do I look hard up? And will I hex them? No, if I really want to do some damage, I'll punch you in the face. That's less effort than hexing someone. And let's be honest, I'm lazy.
It's more immediate, right? You can
Yeah.
get it done.
Yeah,
Get
I'm
it
all about immediate satisfaction there. What else? The people, are we soulmates?
For mine, it's about people wanting you to define things for them.
Yeah. Yes, people that want proof.
Yeah.
Like
Or
if you want to guarantee, I can slap that shit on a box if you want, but I don't go and date a Christian and say, can you prove that God exists for me? No.
right.
Come on.
Yeah.
Like you either believe that they're there or you don't.
Yeah. And it's a close dance for me, and it gets a little disheartening. I wish that there were more options.
Yeah.
I wish that there were ways of fishing through a lot of that stuff. And it's I don't know that any website or any dating site can manage that, because
It's that human connection and figuring out what works beyond, checked boxes.
you do a lot. I don't even really get that far because of a lot of this,
Yeah.
when I start to find out that somebody is less than interested in nature worship and being part of the community. And uh, I'm not even part of the community in the sense I don't play well with others, so um, it's even more individualistic. I could probably go an entire lifetime with somebody and they'd never know. That just seems like it'd be kind of a pain in the ass, but just be like, I'm going out with the girls.
Well, in hopefully August of next year, we'll go to Hexfest, and I'm trying to drag you along with it. And there'll be more practitioners in your realm that are
Right.
there. A realm that I'm very interested in, but I kind of don't know where to start. And I'm just gonna make my way slowly as I do with everything else in this arena. But I like that idea because I like being able to go and connect with more people that are not afraid of the shadow.
Yeah. I find that in my practices that it's acknowledged as part of things. Like it's the dark and the light are part of each individual thing. each
Absolutely.
individual living being.
And
And
for the people that say that, they only embrace the light, I feel like they're cutting themselves off from half their power.
absolutely. I mean, just the Mother Teresa had dark thoughts and expressed them, not publicly, but she expressed them. And I think that kind of ignoring that part of stuff, that's the other thing. And that brings me back to those, pyramid sitters with the tie-dye shit and the crystals. Oh, all the time with the crystals. It's like, okay.
Crystals are handy.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about. You walk in, the whole place smells like patchouli, and there's like a big tie-dye or some tapestry, or some crappy scarf they got at a swap meet on the wall, where scarves are supposed to be. And
Oh God.
and then like a drum set in the corner. Nothing wrong with drums. But it and they're just like, I'm all about peace. Like, okay, well, what happens if war breaks out? Well, I'm okay. You're the first one dead, first off, but it just there's no basis in reality to me. You ever seen ants kill each other? It's fucking ugly.
Actually, I have not.
You gotta watch more nature shows.
I'm too
But
busy watching the crime shows.
nothing exists with no. First of all, I'm not gonna stop watching the crime shows. They're what keep me from getting killed. Okay. Because now California is becoming a serial killer state,
Well,
I thought it was just Washington and Oregon. Nope.
nope.
The
It's
rest of the
moving down
Pacific
south.
coast is going south. That's
Actually, gosh, you could the next time we're in one of our meetup groups, you can ask Dell about that because she actually did a study of, I believe, California serial killers. See? See? And for those of you that don't know our group, we are part of the Emperor Norton Magical People Social of San Francisco. So it is a open group for magical people. You don't have to be a particular path or tradition. We only ask that you come in and be excellent to each other. So no matter if you have opposing views, just please hear each other, be civil. As I put it, don't be a dick.
Sorry.
You're really nice when opposing views come on.
Till they're off. No, I'm kidding.
She just turns off
Once
her
they're gone,
microphone
it's just shit.
or turns off her microphone and her camera, and then she makes faces. Um, Now everybody's going to wonder when you turn off your camera if you're just making faces at what people are saying. But yeah,
Who, me?
finding connections, I think, do happen a little bit more easily in the pagan communities, like when you're at the festivals or the conventions, than they do online. I find people that are open in the regular dating sites, though they may not be practitioners.
Yeah. I you were saying earlier that you didn't like the Facebook dating.
God, that's awful. And then they
I
have
have
secret dating, the secret crush, where you can tag someone that's on your friends list that you have a crush on, and if they're in the Facebook dating, it'll alert them, but it won't tell them that it's you.
I've
Oh,
never done that. To me, that's just ridiculous.
yeah, I think it's creepy. Like if this person's on your friend list and you don't want to tell them that you have a thing, why would you? Oh, you're my secret crush. I mean, gosh, Facebook, can we buy a candygram to send this person now?
I'm so gonna secret crush you.
You know you want me.
With every fiber of my being.
Wednesday's Purple Asshole Day.
It's Tuesday. I
I
gotta take
know.
out the recycling.
Tomorrow's Wednesday.
It is. Let's steer clear of you and your purple asshole thing. You know, you give me one purple asshole and I never stop hearing about it for the rest of my life.
Excuse me, you're the one that talked about it for like 3 days afterwards.
It really fucking hurt. It's terrible. You're abusive.
Next time she says she's thick skin, all you people know it's not true.
That's like a figurative thing. Literally, I'm very thin-skinned. Thin.
She
Thin.
bruises so easily.
I do. You would know. Now they're
I
going to
would
think
know.
something is up. You know that, right?
Everybody knows you're my work wife anyway.
I just recently saw an article about people, most specifically women, choosing to have relationships with their friends and enjoy those as relationships as opposed to pursuing sexual relationships.
Yeah,
Because
platonic relationships are a total thing.
yeah, and more women are just opting out. And I think that speaks to, and I was recently talking about that. I think that speaks to the phenomenon that happened recently in dating. So e-dating makes it easy for, you want to be a tramp. We got all excited. People got all excited. They're like, oh, you could just get sex from anybody anytime you want if you just go online and find these girls and these guys that all just want to have sex. So people got really wound up. And then you give it a few years and it becomes really fucking boring after a while. And then people are like, well, now I want to find a relationship. And now everybody's like, a lot of more people are unmotivated to do anything other than, if it's not just easy, you get like the two categories. If it's not just easy sex, then I don't want it. Or if it's, if I've or they want an instant relationship. They're like, why aren't you my girlfriend yesterday before I met you? And it's like, and there's not a lot of in between. There's not a lot of connecting. People got really, it was so convenient to find somebody to just go bone
Mm-hmm.
that they stopped figuring out how to make a connection with somebody first, then move forward into a relationship, whether it's poly or singular or what have you. And it's, you know, people got caught up in the candy and didn't didn't expect like the side effects. Now they all got emotional diabetes,
Yeah, that's
so
a good statement. Well, what that's what I find funny about, dating during a pandemic. You would think that it gave people time to slow down and get to know each other, but you still see if just as many, if not more, profiles saying, I don't want to spend a lot of time on text message. If you don't want to meet right away, like, that's not my thing. But even prior to that with e-dating, I think because before when we met people in person, maybe we met them while we were out, at a club or at a bar, or
through
maybe
friends,
through
when we had
friends. But
friends.
then we had the social pressure to be on our best behavior, and some people genuinely are those people that are genuinely nice, genuinely caring. But then you have other people that before, they would be polite. They would, show an interest in you and the things that you were interested in. But now with going online, what is the one thing most women complain about when they're texting with someone? Unsolicited dick pics.
Oh, I never complain about that. Send me
I'm,
all of
I'm
them.
sure you don't. And, just just so you know, guys, a lot of times if we mention that we've gotten an unsolicited pic, there are a lot of guys that we're friends with that are like, girl, you better show it.
Oh, you've seen me. I'm like, fuck.
you know but um but they don't have that social pressure not to do that. I mean, what guy is gonna, well, okay, maybe there are some people that would, but what guy in a normal social situation is just gonna whip it out and put it on the table? I mean, I get it, it depends on the bar you're in and how much you had to drink. But if you met a girl at church, you weren't going to do that. If you met her in the library, you weren't going to do that.
That would make both the church and the library probably better attended.
Quite possibly I would go. But but now all of a sudden, we have this distance where people don't have to, what do they call them, keyboard warriors or whatever. They're not afraid of doing things that are uncomfortable because they're safe behind their screen.
Yeah.
So you do get the weird, the weird messages. I want a woman to settle down and have my baby. Well, that's great. I just asked what your name was. And I don't know if it's that people feel like they're running out of time or
I think that social graces have fallen to the
social
wayside.
graces. That is absolutely the perfect phrase.
And it isn't necessarily that people need to be of us like behave. It doesn't have to be fucking Victorian. It just has to be respectable and respectful just of other life and other human beings. And I think that sort of gets lost. And that's what I mean by the instant relationship. And that was what was interesting about that one guy who I wanted to record is
Oh, he
crazy.
was laying it out for you exactly what you could do and what you couldn't.
And but he just didn't want to be in an unconnected, unphysical, non-emotional. And all I saw in my head when he was talking was, oh, he's going to be so clingy. Like, first of all, God bless you for being the person that comes out and is like, I'm really needy. I, I definitely put a lot out there, not just here, but I definitely put. I'm going to point at my boobs all night if I want to,
They're
and
there.
if I have to.
Now,
I got
Jared's not on to tell you how great your boobs are.
who?
Jared.
Oh, thank you, Jared. He's my biggest fan.
Well, no, he said that last time. He's not on this cast. Sorry.
Oh, never mind then. God, my ego is out of control.
I think it's funny. But then it speaks to, what about the people that have to have some kind of mental stimulation
Oh, I
to
do.
feel chemistry with people, and then you have this person that's like, it's all about the physical connection, but they're not even trying for that mental emotional connection.
Yeah.
You
And we're talking about, you and I are talking about two very different points of view with a similar desirable outcome.
Yeah.
You're not looking for a partner, I am. But the problems that exist for you, the issues that exist for you exist for me as well.
Yeah.
And I do see people kind of giving up, and I've been at the point where I want to give up too, and it's because of stuff like that. Like, anybody that knows me knows that I have this big thing about gentlemanliness. I want to be treated with respect, and with courtesy and thought. And those are things that, unfortunately, especially younger people they're not versed in it. They don't get it. They don't understand it.
It's not a standard for them. Like, that should be the price of entry, really.
Yeah. And I think that if more people stood up for that, one thing that I hear a lot of guys on the other side say, that they're not meeting quality women, they're not meeting, they're not meeting good matches. And I think part of it is because they aren't letting people know what they expect. I don't put. Somebody asked me today about what would you, because I told them about this, and they said they're Christian, but they said, would you put, like, that you're what you want or what you desire out of somebody? Would you, like, list it? And I said, I wouldn't necessarily. I would list certain things that are desirable. Like, if you want somebody that you want to go to church with you, you
should
can
list
put that up there. Huh?
Yeah, you should totally list that.
Yeah, I think that's something that is a reasonable expectation. If you want, and I think, sometimes phrasing it can make people more, how you phrase things can make people more receptive. Because, it did make me think, what if we put, like, a list of what you are desiring? Now, here's something that I struggle with myself. That is, am I what I am asking for? And that is something I don't think a lot of people are are accustomed to thinking about. This takes a lot of self-awareness and a lot of willingness to take a harsher look at yourself. That's not easy. It's not an easy thing. And I've asked, if you expect your partner or whoever it is to be have a good income, but what are you coming with to the table with?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have a good income, what do you offer in like trade?
Yeah.
And people have to accept that all relationships are contractual. Your relationship with me is contractual. There are certain unspoken things we've worked out, kinks, issues that we've had with each other.
Mm-hmm.
That is a contract. There are things that you have asked me to refrain from. There are things that you would like more of. And
vice versa.
Right. And we've had real conversations. Every single relationship you have is contractual. You have to understand the terms of the contract. And if they are not clear, you have the freedom, and you should feel comfortable to ask.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're coming, like, for example, a classic contractual relationship where a man has a lot of money and a woman is hot, the expectation is he will keep paying if you stay hot. If you stay the ideal that he is attracted to. That's his expectation. If you are, he will buy you that car. He will get all of those things for you if you continue to do what he expects you to do. But there is a certain trade-off. You do trade off a certain amount of your freedom, but you get a lot of shit. So it depends on what your expectations out of a relationship are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily think you should list all of that. I think that can be a bit much. And then there are nuances of, there are some things that people just won't let go of, don't want to let go of, and won't accept. And I mean, this is just logistics of dating. So,
well, I think a lot of women have certain expectations, high expectations, because, and part of me gets it, where yes, you're going to have high expectations because, you should have expectations of the partner that you're going to have, because you should have value in yourself.
mm-hmm.
But when men have equally high expectations, that's a no-go, because then he's being way too particular. It's about finding that middle ground.
Yeah. I think within reason. I think if you're looking for somebody who has equal, if you ask something of somebody, you have to be willing to give something to somebody. And that's the trick.
Yeah.
And I double check myself. I'm like, wait a minute. I don't have a lot of money. I'm not coming to the table with a lot of money. How do I have and that's the type of person I am. I'm very independent. How do I have the ego to say, I expect the guy I date to have more money than me and be able to pay for dinner for me or what have you? I don't have the capacity. I do, but I don't have the capacity to keep a guy. Not anymore. I have, but right now I don't have a job, bitches. I'm a welfare mother of a cat. Okay, I can't even afford a child. That's how desperate times is for me. It's Calcan or nothing, honey. I'm just saying.
I know, you're adorable too. Well, the other thing is and how you're saying it's contractual, like for myself and my partners, like obviously any relationship that I have with someone is only going to go so far.
Right.
But in return, my philosophy about it is, when let's say I'm on a date with someone, I'm there 150%. Like my phone is turned off with the exception of emergency numbers that can always get through, even through Do Not Disturb, because I have children.
Right.
I have a husband and children, and those are my priority. So those calls are always going to come through. But, I'm not looking at my phone throughout a date. I'm not, constantly, answering text messages. My focus is on that person that I'm with. And I'm not asking about what they're doing when they're not with me, unless it concerns me, or unless it has the potential to affect me. Then
Yeah.
it becomes my business. Otherwise, it's not my business. They want to share, fine. They want me to, they're open to me sharing about, my different experiences. That's fine too. But
Yeah.
there's not a requirement in there.
Yeah. See, um, see, that's again, that's something that you have to work out.
Yeah. And I don't expect to be a priority for them, but I do expect our time together to be focused on our time together.
Yeah, and when I've dated multiple partners, um, when I was growing up, they just called it slutty. So I mean, it's nice that there's another word for it, but I did the same thing. So it doesn't matter.
Hey, there's no slut shame in here. Don't worry.
I'm not ashamed of it. Um, no, when I had multiple partners, I have had I have had guys who knew each other who didn't know that I was sleeping with both of them. And I felt like, here's what I felt like. I felt like it's none of your business who I fuck when I'm not with you, and it's none of your business who I fuck when I'm not with you. And
There
if
you
y'all
go.
find out about each other, that is not my problem. But consider yourselves no longer invited over.
Well, what if they were both okay with it?
Well, then they're both invited over. Different
Oh.
times, though. I don't do double penetration. I hear, what?
What?
Nikki, I can't hear you.
What? I
What?
didn't say a word. I didn't say a word either. Yeah, it definitely is an interesting route to navigate.
Well, my hope is to find somebody who fits well with me and get married and have babies.
But I have to approve of them first.
The babies? Okay.
No, the men.
Because I can't actually have, I'm just going to find baby. I'm going to steal babies.
Steal a 9-year-old, your 40-year-old friend.
I am not taking that hellion on. I'll be damned. No.
Yeah, I'm definitely happy that the baby making days are over. What did somebody was like? Oh, somebody because obviously friends have had concerns with the way we live our lives now, and they're like, what happens if you get pregnant? I'm like, oh, honey, the factory is closed for production. We still give tours, but production is shut down for good.
That is so gross. What a gross way to describe it.
I'm so happy. I told you earlier before we started the cast that my oldest daughter says, "Gosh, mom, it's so funny because so many of my friends, their moms are like, gosh, I wish I could have more kids." She goes, "But my mom and all of her friends are like, oh, I'm so glad those days are over."
The garage is still open, but the windows are boarded up, honey.
Oh, because that's so much better. At least I said production is shut down. You know what? I love my children and I may even someday foster children, but I just couldn't be pregnant again.
Me either.
I got fat on my own.
I was only pregnant for a month, but
Yeah. Wow.
I had no idea.
Oh, well, I knew and I threw up every day. But, I mean, I enjoyed my pregnancies for what they were, but I'm glad I don't have to go through it again.
Yeah, and I'm good without kids. I'm wildly irresponsible. I have no money to speak of, so and yeah,
Anytime you feel the need for children, you just come visit me, and 30
that is
minutes later,
exactly
you are happy without them.
that is exactly what I do. And then I realize, oh my God, this parenting thing is fucking easy. Like, I don't know what they're always complaining about.
Yeah, so sure, you get them once they're potty trained. They know how to feed themselves. They can do
They know how
everything
to
but
feed
drive.
me.
They do know how to feed you. God knows they drive me up the wall, but
One day I'm gonna let Chris make me eggs. I promise.
that makes me so nervous.
Well, he keeps wanting to make eggs.
I know. Brad showed him how to make a grilled cheese.
Oh, that I'm gonna make that tonight.
2 nights in a row, we did sandwiches, and well, the kids didn't like the soup last night. Brad and I had tomato soup tonight. I was very happy.
What soup was it?
It was a Safeway brand. It was tomato basil.
Oh, what did you use instead?
What do you mean?
They didn't like the tomato soup.
Yeah, they didn't like the soup, so they didn't have to have any soup tonight.
Oh.
They tried it last night. I was like, I'm not going to waste any more soup on y'all. I'll eat it. Yeah, so God, I'm kind of sad Diana wasn't able to be here tonight. Just for those of you who are coming on later and know my business partner that usually does these with me, she is under the weather. So hopefully she will be well enough in 2 weeks to do our next podcast, because if she's not here, I'm changing the topic because I don't know. What is it? It's about telling the difference between really being an empath and if you just have, empathic, like strong, sensitive feelings, which I don't know how to tell the difference. But well, Diana will at some point be teaching a course in that. Me, I'll teach the sex magic classes.
All right.
So years ago, I did have someone, well, just a couple years ago, I did have someone ask me about sex magic and that they were interested in it. And I was like, well, we should probably, discuss that theory rather than practice. Because I mean, it's a thing. It really is a thing, but that's something that I think for pagans or people that are sensitive and people that deal with different energies, being aware of who you are getting in the sack with is more important, just as important, if not more than, if you're with a non-practitioner.
Yeah.
Because you're mixing energies.
Yeah.
And if you're both open to energies, sometimes it can be fantastic.
Yeah.
Mind blowing, but other times, you leave with the sludge energetically that other people have. So you have to be additionally careful.
Yeah. I like to build some connection first.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't mind my lovers, the ones that are completely useless to my life serve one singular purpose, and that's just their maintenance,
Hey, there's
and
nothing wrong with that.
that's
Being able to compartmentalize yourself for that is great.
yeah. And it's I mean, I've lived a few lives, so I've had various different forms of relationships.
I am not opposed to physical only relationships.
Yeah, they
You
can
can
be
like
really
that person,
fulfilling.
but they don't have to be a part of your life.
Yeah. And
Mm.
but with you it can be a little dicey just because of the family and the dynamics of that.
Well, yeah, but I'm a safety girl.
Right.
So, there are lots of adult conversations before it gets to that point.
Yeah.
In addition to, all the accoutrements that go along with that.
Are those the whips?
Sometimes.
One day I'll
Not
show you
belts,
my
though. I don't do
closet.
belts.
I'm a former teenage dominatrix. Boy, there's a title of a fucking after school special, isn't it?
I just thought of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and there was like an image in my head. They meshed. It was
It's like
weird.
turtles in leather with ponytails and masks on. Yeah, that's just creepy. It's horrible.
But she was a very shapely turtle.
There's a cosplay. I do not want an S&M turtle in my bed.
S&M turtles. Why you just knock them on their back and then they're...
I was thinking I was a former teenage dominatrix and like those. Remember, I was a teenage alcoholic and all those
You were like
terrible.
an after school special.
Yeah, I'm a cautionary tale of what you shouldn't do.
Yeah, that was not me in the teenage years. That was me in the, mid 20s.
Right.
If you're walking down the aisle and everything in your brain is saying, don't do this, you should probably listen.
I was completely, I did all my wild shit. I'm the, like Mork from Mork and Mindy. I just, when I was
You did it
younger, I
backwards.
did all, now I'm like 10 years old, you know, I need the younger body now.
Nice. Like Jonathan Winters.
Just a big giant baby.
Big giant baby. I like it. I like it. But yeah, I do, or I did have a partner it was purely physical.
Mhm.
However, he got upset one night when I couldn't. So I had plans. He wanted to go out. I said, I can see you after my plans. This is when I'm done with what I'm doing. And then that person, wanted me to wait an hour to meet them. And then they were 40 minutes after that. And by that point, I was like, I'm sorry, I'm home now. I'm not driving over there. I'm home now because my time wasn't respected.
Yeah.
And, that person got really angry, said some kind of, things that, they thought were nasty, that they thought were disparaging that I just kind of laughed at.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you're 35, 36, whatever, however old you are. And, if that's how you think that you're going to insult me, well, I'm just going to laugh at you. And I haven't spoken to them since.
Oh,
And that was like 6 weeks ago.
Oh.
So I don't have time for any of that. And that's the nice thing that I can compartmentalize. And that's kind of a good thing about not having emotion invested.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can be like, this is the line. If you want to cross the line, we don't have to even talk anymore. Like I have zero tolerance for disrespect. Like it's one thing to not be mindful of my time, but don't throw a temper tantrum after it.
Right. I was dating a guy who wanted me to stomp on his balls with my stiletto heels.
Sounds like
And we never had sex. We never got intimate. We did a little playing around in the car. And then I think that the playing around in the car resulted in me discovering that there was very little to be had in the tool department. And I think that he got a little upset.
Mm-hmm.
And his response was to call me a pass around hoe. And I was like, who got passed around to everybody but you? Like, how do you
Right?
how do you come up with that? And that's some misogyny bullshit. It's like, first of all, don't tell me you want to have some crazy kinky shit done. You want me to paddle your balls and stomp on them with stiletto heels? And then act like I'm the sexual deviant.
And see, of course, I'm like, that's a lifestyle. I'm completely non-phased.
I just figured it's because he
It wasn't even nasty like that. I was just, he just kept talking shit and I was finally done. And I was like, good night, so-and-so. And he was like, good night, waitress. Cause he's in a tech job. And I really, like, I read that and I totally laughed. And I was like, best waitress in San Francisco. Thanks. Have a good night. I'm like, you got to try a little harder if you think that disparaging my job is going to really affect me. I'm so happy doing what I'm doing. Like I've managed businesses. Like I love my job.
That's obviously somebody who's never worked in the service industry.
Right?
And second of all, that's somebody who thinks that because there is a idea that women in the industry are easy.
Yeah.
I assure you, I may put out, but I am nothing easy.
Right. Okay, I've seen you in action, just trying to get this woman to give you the time of day if she is not inclined.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that we have to, in our jobs, we do have to balance that. You have to find the fine line between being really friendly with customers and, and not having it go over the line. Fortunately, in our bar, like that type of customer is few and far between.
It's because it's a gay bar.
Well, even with our straight customers, they're really respectful.
Yeah, because they're scared to be asked to never come back.
But that is definitely one of the things that I love about working where we work is that, you know, we don't have to worry about that. Like it's not a big thing. And honestly, if somebody were to get out of line with any of us, we'd probably have 30 guys standing up going, "Oh no, that's my girl."
Yeah.
You know?
Um,
Um,
I do find that that environment is conducive to meeting people who are comfortable with alternative
yeah,
choices.
I would
I,
agree.
I just I don't go to bars that I don't work in.
Yeah, right. And
Uh,
that's the weird thing too, just dating beyond being pagan. Because I do say that I work in the bar industry, and they're like, "Oh, you must like to go to a lot of bars." No, there's probably like 4 bars that I go to in the city, and nine
right,
times out of 10, I'm going to end up at my bar because it's my comfort zone.
right. And the bars that I like to go to are quiet with not a lot of
Yeah,
people.
and there's a lot of regulars there.
Yeah,
It's people that it's that comfort zone, and I don't think that people realize the difference between going to like some random bar in the city. Then you at some point feel like you have to be on, and it's tiring. I'd rather go somewhere where I know everybody and they're just genuinely happy to see you, even if you're not working.
yeah.
So that's again the pitfalls.
Yep. It is not easy, and I strongly encourage you to consider looking into, because if those are the sites that you found, I think they're kind of weenie, and I think there needs to be a more. I don't necessarily think there needs to be a more niche market. I think there needs to be a more open market, maybe something where, because I mean, let's face it, uh, uh, dating on the internet is the way it's going to be for a while anyway, just based off of the condition of the world that we're in right now. Um, uh, and I think, and anybody who's listening, it's worth coming up with something that is a little more inclusive, but not geared with Christian or organized religion in mind,
Hmm.
because it's intimidating. It's intimidating for me. It's intimidating to it sucks to know that I know what my value is,
Hmm.
which is also an odd thing for people to have to encounter on dating websites. But um I know what I bring to the table in a
Hmm.
relationship, and I know what I bring to any kind of interaction with somebody who would be my partner. Um, and it uh, I don't know where I was going. I'm brain dead, but uh, having an environment where a lot of that shit is already stripped down for you, um, like people on this website are not Christian and not in an organized religion. That's something that can take all that away, because I do get intimidated, and it is disheartening to find somebody that you think is attractive, be like, okay, I'm going to open the door, have some really nice conversations, and then slowly realize this is never going to work. They're not going to have, they're already showing signs of not being comfortable with people who are of alternative faiths,
Hmm.
not under making jokes, not in a playful way, but in a caustic way about witches or people who are in alternative practices. And
Hmm.
then, they say something like that, and you can laugh along with it. And then you say, like, oh, yeah, what do you think about stuff like that? And then oh, it's all bullshit and all this other stuff. And then it's like,
And then you're like, oh, yeah.
and then you're on the phone for another 20 minutes trying to figure out how to get out of this gracefully.
Mhm. Well, I think the part of knowing your own value, like that's definitely something that takes time and experience. So, like that person that I was fine just letting them walk away,
Yeah.
20 years ago, I probably would have been backtracking to try and appease this person, or I might have gone to go see them. whereas now I'm like, I don't have time for that bullshit. I don't have time or inclination. I quite frankly have no fucks to give for that.
Right. Right.
Um, but there are a couple groups that I'm on Facebook. So there is one for pagan and Wiccan dating, that they do. It's primarily so people can meet, and if they have a connection, you're not obviously not unsoliciting people like on their messenger, or sending them, like, you ask if you can private message someone in the chat,
Hmm.
and it's all consent based. They do every once in a while have like a blind date that they'll do on there.
And what is this?
It's called pagan and Wiccan dating.
Mm-hmm.
I'll post it in the comments after this. But I'm in a couple different groups. Like, I'm in a polyamory group, like a polyamory discussion group. And these are all private groups. So it's not, it doesn't post to your feed when you post in there. And it is very nice to have these groups to go to. But yeah, it is, even that it's hard. Like, I don't do any of that stuff. I just kind of go on to meet people. Like I said, I'm all about connections. And if something comes from that, wonderful. But if it doesn't, I'm not really going to stress about it.
Yeah.
Um,
I like I said, I stick to my guns, and I go into the fray and hope that that's all you can do right now. And I God damn it, now I'm going to be up your ass about this, because I'm just like, I'm going to be like, yeah, let's do it. Let's figure it
I
out. Let's.
like that. I like that idea. Definitely having a forum where people can come and meet with the express interest of dating, and being even on the fringes of the pagan community, because that's kind of where we are. Yours is a little bit a bigger part of the pagan community,
Mm,
but your particular brand is a mixed version. It's evolved from several different things. So yeah,
yeah.
you probably aren't going to find anyone that does exactly what you do, but you're going to find people that do things closer to what you do and are more accepting of it.
For now, this is the only boyfriend I can have.
Oh, hi,
Jaja pop.
Caspian.
He said, I hate when she puts me on the show.
That's all right. Luna was whining over here for a little while, and was like, "Come on,
I know.
dog."
I was going to make the joke that I could hear you farting, but I
No,
missed the
that was the
opportunity. You were
dog.
talking.
The dog.
It seemed rude.
Oh, sorry, rude. I was trying to tell the dog to go away. He likes to jump on my lap and be on camera.
um. Well,
I know this has been a subject. This has been we have a couple people on. If you guys have any comments, questions,
dick pics.
you can post those in the comments too, I guess. I'm not sure that anyone will want to see them. You could just private message those to Lauren.
Here comes the dogs running now.
No, Brad came back in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She's very excited that Daddy's home. He's trying to be really quiet as the dog's jumping on him. Yeah, I think dating in any forum is hazardous and full of pitfalls. And if you can find someone that you sync with, God has helped you. But when you are dating as a pagan, it's that extra layer of
Yeah,
that you
it
kind of
is.
deal with.
It is, and at least when it's super organized in the sense of like pagan,
Mhm.
in the Norse tradition, because there's a lot of them. The Maypolers. There's a lot of them, and they have managed to grow to a level of being a group that can also segment into gay, lesbian, uh, polyamorous, what have you. I know plenty.
Mhm.
And Wicca. I don't. You know what? I honestly don't know anybody that's Wicca.
Which is kind of funny, because when people think of witchcraft, I think that most non-practitioners, that's the first thing that they think of, because that's what you see in mainstream media.
Right.
is a lot of Wiccan stuff. But yeah, I know a few people, like I know more people that have started in Wicca
Right.
and evolved to something else.
Yeah.
Um, and it, it is. It's a gateway.
My first experience with Wiccas was not very good, so I went running. I was like, oh no, not me, no. Not with these people.
Well, I'd always been a solitary practitioner.
Right.
So I just, I read the books and I did my own initiation, which I actually did at Stowe Lake in San Francisco. My self dedication and initiation uh, ritual. Christine and Abel, who you met, went
Hmm.
with me that night, and they were kind of helping me keep a lookout. But I may be the reason that they have the or at least Diana thinks I am. She says that I'm the reason that they have the legend of the lady and the lady in white at Stowe Lake, because I was in a white robe that night. But I think that legend has been around since before I did that. But we did have people that saw us, and I was trying to run and hide and take my robe off. After we had finished, oddly enough, no one came around during the course of the ritual itself.
Huh.
Yeah. Um,
Interesting.
well, it was like midnight, and the park closed and everything else. But yeah, we were worried about cops or security, whatever, coming through. Um, but yeah, I practiced solitary for years and years, and I did like a couple reclaiming things, like the Mayday ones, and I just never really felt comfortable with other people until I joined the Emperor Norton group, and it's probably because it's not ritual heavy there. Like we
Yeah.
very rarely do any kind of spell work like that, but it's gotten me more comfortable with working with others. Is Caspian walking around behind you?
He's mad because his box isn't where it's supposed to be. He literally just came over, stuck his head in it, and he's like, hmm?
That's all the demanding male you need.
I got all the big black man I need right here.
um
Um,
I don't know, do we have anything else on this subject?
I'm a bit tapped out.
Right.
The minute you said grilled cheese, I was like, mm.
She's like, grilled cheese.
Did somebody say grilled cheese?
Right. I mean, I have lots of stories, but I don't know that any of them are public appropriate.
About grilled cheese?
No. um yeah, I'm opening that up for any questions that we have. Just top it right into the comments. If not, we might wrap this up soon. So Lauren, while we're waiting to see if anybody has any questions or comments, if you could create a partner for yourself, like, do you have any specifics that it would be? Like if your dream partner could happen?
Big dick.
I knew you were going to say
I think we all knew that was coming. Um,
that. Not yet.
we'll see. Talk about the fucking worst disappointment of your life. Um, uh, really, somebody who can take care of their own shit and who is open. I don't need somebody who is involved. I don't need somebody who is, and in, I mean, in, I don't need somebody who practices anything outside of what they're comfortable with. But somebody who's open and who can be interested. And they don't have to. They don't have to be interested. But
It's nice.
who can? It's nice, and someone who isn't going to sit in judgment of stuff,
Yeah, that's a huge thing.
and that's as far as that is concerned. I have definitely I realize in my dating when I put up when I and you've seen me do it when I go, well, I don't know, he had bad breath and I don't want to go out with him anymore because it's easier to just implode the whole thing over something stupid. you
Hmm.
know Bad breath isn't forever. So, or okay, I might not be able to deal with really horrible feet, but Um, that might be a deal breaker. But I think I'm at the age and of the acceptance that um, I'm looking more internal into the person. And I've always been, I can't get turned on by somebody who doesn't have a brain in their head. They don't have to be overly educated,
Yeah.
but clever and intelligent and thoughtful
Mhm.
and comfortable with a woman who's in charge. I don't want to be in charge all the time. I do want a man that, a firm hand and a firm and loving hand. I love that. Um, I am surprisingly old fashioned and traditional.
I like that. I like that. So if you're watching and you would like to call Lauren, her
Or you
number
know
is,
anybody.
yeah, or you know anyone. We're going to do, let's start a pagan dating game. Remember the dating game, that 70s one, the dating
Uh,
game?
yeah. And remember the dating game killer?
No,
Oh, you got to look that one up.
I'm going to look that one up when we get off of this. But that would be, if you know anyone, hey, send us a private message. Send it to the Golden Apple Facebook page. I like that. I was watching your show and I know the perfect guy for Lauren. That would be amazing.
If I was a flavor of, since I'm wearing my disco dress, my
Right?
70s dress,
There
let's
you
see, can you
go.
see?
If
Yeah.
you were a flavor of ice cream, Lauren, what would
What
you be and
flavor
how would
would
you like
I
to be lit?
be?
Yeah. Oh, wait, that might be the porn version of that. Wait.
I didn't hear what you said, but we were on a similar page.
Yeah. What flavor of ice cream would you be, Lauren? Tutti frutti.
uh, God, what flavor of ice cream would I be? Oh, I'm so vanilla. I know, right? No,
You
I
have a
am.
little caramel sauce in there.
Oh, I'm a salted caramel.
There you go. Yeah, you are. I would be a rocky road because you have your chocolate, you have some marshmallows because I'm fluffy, and just a little bit of nuts.
Right. Oh, God.
Nuts, not nuts.
Oh, and you have to be comfortable with sex change jokes. You know what I'm talking about? I'm just saying, do you know how long it took to get the beard done, the electrolysis? Who knew I was that hairy?
Just shaking my head at you right now.
I had a guy who, because I had like a code name on one thing, and he said, "So what's your real name?" And I said, "Daryl."
Oh my God. You know what? You
Oh,
absolutely have to tell the thing about what website were you on? Where it was the guys that were posing to be other people.
I was on Scrabble.
Oh,
I
I
was
thought you were
playing
on dating.
Scrabble. And there's all this, of all the fucking places, I'm just trying to play Scrabble. And they're sending you messages like, "Are you married? Do you have kids?" And they've got this, I created, so I was like, they're all lying. They're fishing. They're catfishing. And
Mm.
they've one guy had the photograph of Captain Lee from Below Deck as his picture. And I was just like, are you serious? I didn't even, I was like,
And
just
that's when
delete
they're like,
him.
that's really me.
Yeah, right. Oh, you're Captain Lee on Below Deck. Okay,
Yeah.
what are you doing on Scrabble hitting up people? I happen to know you're married with 4 kids, sir. But yeah, and they're catfishing, and they're trying to get you to give them your email address so they can talk to you. So I figured, since they're all lying, and they've all got this script, and they all have the same script, and they don't
Mm.
even pay attention to the answers you give, and they're trying to find women to take advantage of
Hmm.
on Scrabble.
Yeah.
That's just like, I'm really just doing this because my chef friends like to play Scrabble after they get home from work. Like, they're out of the kitchen and all they want to do is sit on the toilet, take a dump, and play Scrabble. That's what they do. Well, it's true. And uh and now you're hitting on me, and it's just weird. It's weird. So I decided that I was going to create myself a character too, and I clean up crime scenes, and I live in Alaska, and I have 4 children sometimes, and I'm not married.
I occasionally get on my Instagram,
Hmm.
I get the request from people that I don't know, or someone follows me and then they try to send me a message. And I
Hmm.
always look at the profile first to see how long the pictures have been on there. Because if it's been on like 3 hours, like every single picture is on there for 3 hours, I'm like, okay, they're catfishing. Because at first I started answering them because like people that would shoot me a message, so I'm like, maybe they have a question about the website,
Mm.
and they just happen to see something on my personal page rather than the shop page. So I'd talk to them and after a while it'd be like, oh, I love you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, whoa, dude, like you met me 3 hours ago. Calm down. Like, wow. Like, I'm not about that. And then, you have to block them. So now I'm like, okay, nope. Now I see the common denominator here. I'm
Mm.
gonna um I'm gonna go look. And yeah, if your thing's 3 hours old, I'm not even gonna look at you. I'm not even gonna just
Right.
gonna
And
block it.
on the Scrabble, the funny thing about it is like some one guy was saying that he said, I feel like there's something that could be between us. And I was like, why? I just want to let you know it's not me. I'm using a Scrabble cheat on a website. That's who you're really falling in love with.
I feel like there could be something between us. I feel like there should be something between us, an ocean.
Yeah, it's not going to be one of those glory holes for COVID. I promise you that, buddy.
Oh my gosh,
Um,
this was totally a thing. I don't know why this made me think about this. And this is completely off of the pagan dating. But now it is a thing that I have a question about. And if we ever get back to work, I'm totally going to ask the boys this. But is there glory hole etiquette? So if you're a guy and you're someplace with a glory hole, and you're quaking for a whatever, for a shaking or whatever, and someone sticks their penis through the glory hole, and it's something you're not into, how do you let them know? Do you flick it, or do you like tap it and like you're like or do you like knock 3 times? Is there an etiquette for that? I just, it was weird, random thoughts that I have.
my reaction would be, oh my God, did you just stick your dick through a jagged metal hole? Do you think that's safe?
No, they're padded.
Oh, this must be a much nicer bathroom than I had.
Well, well,
I just told on myself so hard.
you really did. And now you are beat red. That's amazing. The one person that's watching us, you got your money's worth right there. Find Lauren on her fans only page.
Usually the duct tape is all
Oh my God, I had a legitimate question. And
Where the fuck are you going that they're like, we better pad this corner?
well, maybe they're not
Um,
padded. Maybe I only know the padded one.
Girl, I was going to gay clubs when I was 14 fucking years old. They didn't have padding on
And
them.
you don't know the etiquette. Like, is there an etiquette? Do you just like push the pad?
They're gay boys. The etiquette is to suck it or fuck it.
Oh, what if you don't like it?
I can find out for you.
Well, I was just gonna wait till we got back to work because I was. Who are you gonna text Kenny or someone?
No, no. Let me see what I can do here.
Are you gonna look online? I
No,
guess I could have Googled it.
no, no. Hold on. Let
We
me
should
let
call
me
Josh. I asked Josh all these questions.
hold
Yes,
on.
we are completely off the rails here. We're totally off topic and we're running with it. Because now I'm really curious about glory hole etiquette.
Let's hope.
Who are you calling? Are you calling New York?
Palm Springs. Close. Another gay mecca. Oh, of course he's not answering. Get the dick out of your mouth and fucking answer the goddamn phone.
And this is what we're really like.
God, oh my God. You know, it's not often that you have a mega gay on speed dial and then...
Well, maybe he's sleeping.
It's 10:30. He's at a diaper party or pajama or what are they? Underwear party.
Anyway, yes. Normally I ask Joshy these questions and I didn't think to do it. I asked him about docking.
Yes, I know.
When people had questioned me about that, I was like, I don't know, but I know who to call. So I guess
yes.
glory hole etiquette falls under dating. I mean, it's not really dating. It's,
It's certainly not anything I'm going to be involving myself in, and I hope that you aren't either. Oh my God.
What?
You trashy whore, you.
Please.
Well, did you know the person on the other side ahead of time?
No, so I've never personally done a glory hole. However,
you just said, no, I did not.
No, I meant I didn't do that. Here's the story. So one of my partners had a friend that used to set up scenes for them. And then this person had contacted them and said, hey, I have a glory hole scene. Like, do you know anybody? Can you think of anyone? So he contacted me. He's like, I know that you would probably know someone. So but I didn't think about glory hole etiquette.
So if pagan dating doesn't work out for you, there's always glory holes.
I call it a prelude to a kiss. On that note, I think it's time to wrap up our show. We don't have any questions from the group. Who's watching us? Who's watching us here? We have one person on my Facebook, my personal Facebook, watching us, which I wasn't thinking that this is also on my personal Facebook.
It's probably Skip.
We're gonna edit out the last 15, 30 minutes of this.
Skip's typing right now on his phone very slowly the glory hole etiquette for us. Girls.
That would be amazing.
Because we're going to be forever called the girls. The girls are here. The girls are coming.
I like that. I'll be 80 years old and be one of the girls. Then we'll be the golden girls.
Well, and we'll probably be discussing golden showers.
See, no, I got a fine line for that.
I mean, a good set of rubber sheets, they can be warm.
I'm just, it's time to say goodnight, America.
If you ever peed yourself on a very cold day, it can be very comforting for about 30 seconds. Then it gets really fucking cold.
I don't think it gets that cold here. I'm just saying, girl, after 40, don't sneeze or laugh unexpectedly. I'm just saying.
I got some stories to tell.
Oh, God. That's another episode. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us this long. And if you have hung out with us this long, I'm so sorry.
I'm not.
I'm Nikki Jobin. This is Lauren Barrett.
That's
and
who
we
I
are
am.
Definitely unsupervised.
God, am I still here? The fuck?
See you next time. See us in 2 weeks.
What? What's going on?
There we go. There we are. Wait, she's still frozen.
Oh, I'm frozen. You're frozen. God, and you should see the face. Hold on. Where's my camera?
We're logging off. Can you hear me, Lauren? There you are.
Yeah, there you are.
All right, we're logging off now. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Stay safe. She's on her phone already. She's already checked out.
We're still on.
We're still on. Say goodbye to the people, Lauren.
Bye.